Okay, this is chapter 7 from Keys to Effective Learning. This chapter is focusing on studying and reading, and mostly we're going to review this for SQ3R. By now you should have read chapter 7 in the text, so we will be mostly focusing on a review for this this slideshow for this PowerPoint. So mostly we want to go over why we chose to add a topic for the course on studying. Ideally because you're in college and you should have to study for your test. That makes the most sense. But study skills and test taking strategies sometimes are taken for granted that everybody just knows how to do so already. So that's why this was a topic particularly chosen for this course. So how can SQ3R help you own what you read? How does this help you understand, retain, remember what you read? Not just for test taking purposes or to kind of learn temporarily and dump, but how do you retain this information? SQ3R is survey, question, read, recite, and review. So this is designed to help you retain. With SQ3R, you're not supposed to not understand what you've read. So you won't leave the pages without learning something if you're practicing this method. So let's start with the first one, which is survey. Survey simply means what it sounds like. You survey, you look, you see what's there. Survey before you read means to look over the table of contents and the preface. That'll give you an idea of what's going to be covered. Check out the elements in the chapters, things that are bolded, highlighted, tables, features, things that illustrate what the text is about, and using your glossary and your index. If you're reading across a chapter and there's words you don't understand or how they relate to what you're reading, you can look in your glossary or your index to give clarification for those. As you're reading, you should be creating questions that are key to the chapter's headers. The headers are there for a reason. They're going to highlight what it is you should be getting from this reading. So they tell us a lot of information. Usually if something's a header or it's bolded, it's because they want you to pay special attention to it. So if the header says, for instance, freedom and resistance, you can ask yourself, what should I be getting from under this reading of freedom and resistance? If it says the slaves revolts, what revolt? What were they revolting against? How, when did it occur? So it simply means to create a question for yourself to answer as you're reading. Bloom's taxonomy is the most widely used method of creating questions. This goes from the highest level to the lowest level. On the lowest level, you're just seeking knowledge. Above that level, you're going to have knowledge and understanding. So not only are you gaining information, you're understanding what you're reading. If we go up further, we're going to have a knowledge of what we read, understand what we read, and be able to apply what we read. If we go higher, we're going to go to analysis. So now we know what we read, we understand what we read, we can apply it, and we can analyze it. We can compare this to something else we've read. The highest level is evaluation. After you do a synthesis, there's evaluation. Evaluation means that you can go back and actually, from this text, starting from the bottom with knowledge, you can now go back and evaluate what you've read for comparison, for agree or disagree, for question and answer, or for opinion purposes. Reading actively. This is at your Q stage questions. So you're looking for main ideas, you're taking notes, and you're highlighting things that you think are important or that you may need to come back to. So this is the first part of our SQ3R. This is the first of the 3 R's. After you've read, you should be reciting what you've read. This can be to yourself. You can rehearse the answers to yourself or write information down to go back and review. So if you're note taking while you're reading, you're highlighting things that you consider may be important or that you may see again when it's time for test taking purposes. So we have read and recite. Our third R for SQ3R. It's review soon and review often. This means if you just read a chapter for history on Monday, the next time you should see that again shouldn't be the next Monday. You should reread these notes and summarize as soon as the next opportunity is available, preferably at the end of that class day. If a chapter comes with questions, you can answer those questions for yourself. If it's vocabulary or words, make flashcards and test yourself, or write your own summary. Some people record their concepts for themselves and play back to study. So you're almost lecturing yourself at that point, or making some notes to yourself that you can play back for later. Is this going to improve your comprehension? Not by itself. What will improve it? Applying what you already know. So if you're reading about block building and it's something you've done before, you can apply what you've already done or had experience doing to what you're reading. This just makes it clear, it makes more sense, or it makes it understandable. When something isn't clear, you check references, ask for help, or research other topics on the same idea. So if you're reading about the World War II and you're not understanding the concept in the text that you're reading, you can always go to the World Wide Web, to the internet, and Google World War II and use articles that are documented, use reliable sources, and use articles that have been vetted for their accuracy. While you're doing your reading comprehension studying, you should be in an environment where distractions are going to be at a minimum, like TV, radio, children, cooking dinner, etc. If those things are going on while you're trying to study, the odds are that you're not reading for comprehension. Expand your course vocabulary. This again goes back to using your glossary and your index. If there's a word you don't know, odds are you won't understand the word in the context that it's being used. How often do you think you should study for every hour you spend in the classroom? Now, this has been researched and the example has been long-standing. So for every 2 to 3 hours that you spend in the classroom, you should study 2 to 3 hours outside of the classroom. So if you're at a minimum enrolled in 12 credit hours, which makes you a full-time student, you should be spending no less than 24 to 36 hours a week studying. What are you reading for? Is it for understanding? Is it for application? Is it for fun? Are you supposed to be evaluating something critically, to answer questions, to give your opinion, to defend it, or to object to it? So understand what you're reading for to make things clear. And you can, of course, customize your text. This can be done with highlighting and with taking your own notes. Or you can interact with your text for better learning. Mark information you find important with a pen, pencil, highlighter, turn the page down. If it's your book that you own, you can certainly make notes inside the text or the margins, or take your own full text notes and read them separately. Here are a few examples of how to mark up a page. It just shows you underlining, highlighting, making notes in the margin, or highlighting key points, or writing questions to yourself to go back and answer later. Since so much of what we do right now is online, we've included how can you read online materials effectively. Most times when you're looking at the screen, you are skimming or scanning or focusing on trying to find the main point quickly. To get with an online method, most things we're looking for it fast, and we want the point to be very clear as fast as we can find it. So we're not looking for online reading to be as if you're sitting down with the book and you have the most time to read and understand. So if you're reading online, skim your article first. Save it on your computer so that you can copy, print it out, and mark it up. Practice your SQ3R: survey, question, read, Of course, our last one is recite. And make your own notes on your own printed out version, or print the articles out if you prefer to write on them yourself. So the main points we really want to get from this chapter about studying and reading and study habits is using SQ3R in regular practice, the amount of time we should spend studying outside of the classroom, and understanding what it means to survey, question, read, recite, and review. There will be a short quiz after this lesson, so you feel the need to go back and reread your chapter or reread the notes from the PowerPoint. Feel free to do so. It shall be up a little while longer before it's unavailable, so make sure you don't have any questions about this before it becomes unavailable. Okay? We'll get back to that shortly.